Hello there, and welcome to the Super Mario Maker 2 episode. Today we're going to be doing part 2 of the Salty Spitoon, which we started last time, and we're going to see if we can get through the rest of the run, starting off with a bit of a fail montage. That's the first time we died there. We'll switch sides, sure. Shell, so how am I going to do the shell in the end of the first try? Farther back to do that. Oh my gosh, I don't know how I keep doing that successfully. It is a real shame we can't keep the Shelmet any farther in the level. There we go. Yep, that's definitely the idea. That's a little more consistent. Okay, always paranoid of this little dude. I suppose... I don't know if there's a better time to jump on him if he's going slower or faster. There we go. Okay, please don't die here again. to the left than one would expect, as always, but just a little bit. Good. Hope I have good judges, and by that I mean good fireballs. I do have good fireballs. Great. There we go. Alright, let's hope I can do this successfully. There we go. Good old double tap. That's like the style points way of beating that. Okay, didn't get style points this time. I was half tempted to skip him, but I forgot that we actually need to A, go back, and we B, actually need to kill him for the clear condition. Okay, please be careful. Okay. Simple yet effective boss fight. Good. I'm not sure if it's better to hang on the left or the right there. There, doodle pip. Okay. So we just need to go through here successfully without taking damage. Okay, now hopefully I can do that one thing correctly. Okay, we have to wait for them to get across. So we can go under. Okay, so this is tough. Or maybe not as tough as I was making it sound. Okay, so let's see if we can defeat the Hammer Bro quickly. There we go. You want to jump, bro? There we go. Oh wow. I don't actually think I want to be big anymore. Moment of truth. Yes, 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 yes. I don't care, I'm nowhere close to the world record. That's okay. Oh my gosh. That really gave me a run for my money, EvilJesse. Oh my goodness, that was really tough. That was a really good level, as much as I may have bickered and complained at various points of the level due to my own stupidity or doing things wrong, or finding very inventive ways to die. So anyways, that was a really good level. Let's do our typical retrospective to talk about how you can actually beat this level. So the beginning of the level is not too bad. So what you need to do is you need to go under the fireballs. I would just wait for them a little bit so that they're down. Then it's pretty quick to get across. Grab the spring, hit the switch. For me, I always went one square to the right of one of the fire bars, or to the left, I mean. Once I was there, then just wait for everything to go up and down and whatever, and just go across, and you're fine there. Jumping the thwomp is pretty easy too. Just wait for the two fire bars on the outside to be down, and to jump across as necessary. Spin jump off the thwomp. So then once you're here, now there's a number of ways you can do it. The fastest way is just to wait for the fireballs to drop, potentially, and then just keep jumping around and getting over the top. In a number of my runs, what I ended up doing is I ended up going just a little bit out, or a little bit almost touching the platform, I guess. The fireballs would actually miss you, so you could actually do that one at a time if you really wanted to, if you were careful enough about not falling off. But anyways, that's not too bad either. You fall down, the cannons are very fickle here. They kind of shoot at different increments. Sometimes you'll shoot right away, sometimes not. So the most consistent is just to wait, although if you want to go for a speed run, you could hope for the best and just run through and try and jump and see if you could dodge it. But anyway, just wait, jump, land on the thing, go past, and then here's just a bit of timing. So once you've done this part enough times, like I have, eventually you just kind of figure out what the timing is, but you just have to wait and try and jump on it when it's roughly going to be at its peak. So you want to jump just before it fires, and then you'll be able to easily get in there. So the next piece, we have the spiny, and the spiny, first you need to do your spin jump off the platform to the right, and you want to do that close to the edge of the platform and then do your jump, otherwise you're going to hit the spike that's there. Then just hop, skip, and jump at the spiny. It's almost like a little break at that point. Make sure you jump at the end. I managed to forget that a few times. So jump at the end, go to the clouds. So in this one there's, I think, 2 ways that I usually did it. So the way you do this, you just sort of wait until the fire bar has gone right to the left, then you jump and wait there for a bit till the cannon fires, and then you can just jump across carefully from one spot to the next. If you kind of forget to do that and you jump a little bit too early, you can still get across. You just have to do kind of like a careful jump around the second fire bar, but everything else is reasonably straightforward there. So the next part, also pretty straightforward, is just you can just do spin jumps all the way through. Earlier on I was being more cautious and I would just spin and jump, wait, spin, jump. But once you've done that part enough times, so if you've died enough times like I have, then it's just spin, jump, spin, 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 no big deal, and then just jump around. So at this part, now getting into the pipe, I think when I was on stream, if I recall correctly, I was using spin jumps, I can't quite remember, but basically I was just tapping B this time, and just tapping it enough, and keep tapping it just slightly more each time roughly until I had enough height to get into the pipe. I think I only ever died there once out of the very many times that I got to that spot. So it's not too hard to do that consistently, just got to be a little patient. It's possible you could do something with the duck jump there too. I didn't want to have to worry about extra inputs. Again, I didn't really die there very often, so that worked for me. So now here for the shell jumps, I had been trying to do this consistently so many different times. I haven't really found a good way of doing the first shell jump consistent, but what seemed to work best for there's Mario, there's a shell, and then there's one extra empty space to the wall. And if you're placed like that, maybe ever so slightly having the space against the wall, maybe slightly larger, and just jump and then hold back while you're jumping there. I felt like that was the most consistent I could usually do that, so that's how I try to do that jump. That's how I try to do the jump at the end. And then you have to make sure that you jumped at the right point so that you don't get hit by the gear, and then you just have to jump again. So this jump, the next one, had me going for a while. Probably most of my gameplay on this level was just beating the level up until this point because I kept screwing up this shell jump. So probably because I forgot like the cardinal rule of almost all shell jumps is you want to jump and then hold back a bit. So from there you just need to run, let go of the shell roughly where that square is, and then hold back just enough so that you can land on the shell and then jump forward. So, and given that what we did before, keeping the shelmet, we can just cruise along the next part and we at least have an extra hit just in case we get hit somehow either by the gears or something. But here's just simple, try and jump on the right side of the gears, fall down, jump across, and then go past the munchers, reasonably easy peasy, and then just jump over to the shell or the buzzy beetle. But at this point, I couldn't find a way to beat the buzzy beetle, or sorry, to get the buzzy beetle into the POWs that you need to do without with keeping the shelmet, because it would always bounce off the head of the shelmet. So I always opted to get rid of the shelmet. Maybe there'd be some way to do that, but I feel like it would be really difficult to pull that off. More difficult than just going through the rest of the level without the shelmet. So I would just lose the shelmet. You throw it up, catch it, you throw it up again, get to the top, and then you catch it and you jump and you fall just a little bit and then you throw it. And if you even jump like a little closer to where the POWs are and let go, I felt like that made that a little more consistent. Do that, go in the pipe. Okay, so you're in the pipe now. Now we have the one where you have the 2 spikes, ceiling and floor. So this one isn't really too bad. I think I may have died here once, but otherwise all you have to do is do what I was doing there. Just make sure you're tapping the controller, see if your height is correct. Once it's correct, just run and do that same jump, and the muscle memory will serve you well there. So next is Lenny. This ended up being a little more tricky than I thought sometimes. I probably died here maybe 3 times because I didn't take his RNG into account well enough. As far as I can tell, he can jump at least 4 times, or a maximum of at least 4 times. Sometimes only once, but sometimes 4. So what I found was best is rather than trying to wait too far away and then getting thrown off by his RNG, is you actually want to stay close to him, and then you at least have 1 jump that's a race, so there's only possible of 3 jumps left, and usually I don't think I ever had any problems with that. So otherwise just keep jumping on his head and do what I was saying there with the jumps, and then totally fine. Next up we have Molly Bros. So the first mole, you just have to time that well. I never died to it, but I was always paranoid that I would. But anyway, it wasn't too hard to get past the first mole. Then you jump over, kill the wrench mole. Then there's the other 2 moles that come, just pretty straightforward. Land on the one, and then land on the other. So then afterwards, so this part is probably kind of critical. So if you land in there and you don't land where the mole's going to jump out, then I have a feeling that would get a lot more chaotic, so it's easier if you can just land in there, don't hold the B button, just kind of let go of your controller basically, and just let the mole hit you up, and then you're good. So that's fine. And then from here, spin jump onto the thwomp, and then have it fly over to the other side. After that, just jump over the thwomp. So normally what I found here is that I don't know if I really need to talk myself through it because I was pretty consistent with it after a while, but I feel like after you spin jump off the thwomp, you don't realize just how much momentum you have, and you really have to hold back more than you would expect, just a little bit more than you'd expect to fall right between the gears rather than flying into the right gear. Again, I think you can err on the side of holding farther back rather than going forward there. So the next part, just jumping through the little holes in the walls there, I don't think I ever had any problems with that, so just jump, jump, jump. The next is the fireballs, so this time, this was a little more iffy. Sometimes I would get good judges, what I called, this is a term used for people who are doing Super Mario Bros. Speedruns, which is when there's a certain pixel they can see in a certain spot, but for this one it was, if the potobos are jumping up roughly in sync, then that's sort of your good judges. If they're alternating, then that's bad judges, because you have to be really careful with that, and I almost died one of the times I had bad judges in terms of the potobos. So usually when they're nicely in line, you just have to kind of jump right when they come, go down the pipe, easy peasy. So the Boom Boom Bro fight is a little more complicated. Actually, not really. It's complicated if you don't know what to do, but once you have a strategy, it's pretty straightforward. You just, as soon as they both pop up, jump off on one, use the momentum to jump on the next one, land on the ground, watch and repeat again. So the third time, if you're lucky, you can kill them both in one bounce, but usually I found it best to just jump on one, jump away. The remaining Boom Boom is going to run really fast, and then you jump on him. I feel like trying too hard to jump on him with the momentum from the first passed away Boom Boom Bro is going to be a little risky, because you're not going to know where he's going to run exactly based on his momentum. So do that, and then just do that again, because there's the other Boom Boom. And then there's the flying Boom Boom fight. So this one, I feel like there's probably a lot of room for improvement, or maybe just alternative strategies. What I like to do is to hang out on the left side, or rather hang out on the left side, keep them on the left, and then go to the right. And if I saw that the fireballs were sort of okay on the right side, then I would jump on them. And if not, then I would just try to avoid them. So the important part about this is that because if you're on one side, he has a full swing to go down and back up, so he shouldn't get you in the corner. But if he's hanging out in the middle and you're in one of the corners, he can swoop down and get and kill you. And this happened to me once where I couldn't avoid him because there's a fireball above me. So anyway, keep him to the left or right, probably to the left, at least that's what I did, and then just go past. And then through the door. And now we have the Bowser fight. So I think the first few times I went through this, I did actually try and kill him, but when I lost my Fire Flower the one time, I decided to look back through the level, and I realized that there was, or I remembered that there was this cannon section, so I wanted to take a look there, and there's actually no wall or anything kind of blocking the path there, so I figured, maybe I can just skip Bowser and just go back and hopefully that's not going to bite me in the butt. So it didn't seem to. I'm not entirely sure what would have happened afterwards, but or if you kill Bowser and go across, but I just sort of waved at him, say sayonara, went back to the room where you just jump to the cannonballs, and then that, because you take a hit from the fire flower, just go through that quickly so you don't have to take an extra hit from the mushroom, and then you're okay. So from here, just jump over to the vine, climb the vine, wait for the spinny gears until both of them are kind of, because there's two that are kind of together, so wait till they've kind of passed, and it's easier to go underneath. And then there's the spikies, or spike traps by the platforms that fall. So just hang out on the left side, jump, jump, fall down. So you still have the mushroom now, which makes it slightly more complicated, but you have to do a sort of run, duck, jump, jump, jump to get through that little hole. It's almost as if he knew that it was possible to cheese that part and was trying to make it really hard for people who try to cheese it. So, but anyway, was able to get through that, no problem. Go across, down the pipe. Here we have two hammer bros, a small and a big one. The small hammer bro, just kind of wait for him to have thrown his hammers and kind of stop. He's usually pretty easy to kill without losing your mushroom. Once it's just the big guy, kind of the same idea, just kind of wait around until he does his big drop, and then jump on top of him, kill him as well, and then you just go on your way. So then the next part isn't really super critical. You can jump and totally fail, and then jump and fail again because you have your mushroom. This is almost the entire reason to have the mushroom, just to save you a little bit of grief there. I don't quite remember what the height of those spikes were. If they were a height of 4, maybe you didn't even need the mushrooms. So, but it does save you a little bit of potential between the Bowser location and that. So if you do accidentally take a hit somewhere, you have that extra insurance, which is great. But so getting to the end, I feel like I don't really do shell jumps with Big Mario, so I actually, for the clear, lost my mushroom on purpose. Then just went there for the final shell jump. So, yeah, I mean, oftentimes you can go through a level and you can just do shell jump and it's fine. And sometimes maybe you'll kind of like mess up a shell jump here and there, but like for this one, you've had to go through a whole heck of a lot to get to the end, and now you have to do not just a forward shell jump, which is what you've done earlier in the level and you've practiced over and over and over again in the earlier level. You have to do a left shell jump. So again, I think roughly the same strategy held, so you want to keep a roughly one square, maybe a little bit more away from the wall from where you're holding the shell. Jump, and let go as you're falling, turn around, jump on the shell, and then go across, and then just cry tears of joy when you finally beat it. But anyway, so wow, that was a long explanation, so you can tell it was a long level, with a lot of very good, interesting difficulties and little puzzles, I guess, that you have to solve. Puzzles in a way that aren't necessarily like a one-screen puzzle, but in terms of how do I do this very consistently so that I don't keep dying at this section over and over, because there's lots of places to die over and over. But anyway, wanted to thank EvilJesse for creating this level. This level gave me the same kind of feel of Rise of the Rift in that it wasn't necessarily a speed run, but you have a lot of little mini objectives that you have to beat and get past, with splashing in a little bit of Kaizo, which is a bit of a weakness of mine, so I'm glad I was able to eventually churn this one out. But anyway, so it was a great level. Thank you very much, EvilJesse. Hope they keep them coming. I've enjoyed your level so far, but anyway, I think that's about it for me for now. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. Hope you watch the next videos that we create, and I hope to see you next time. Take care.